Cut. Too spooky, folks. Tone it down, please.
Welcome to Let's Play Metroid Dread. This will be a comprehensive series, which means I'll show you where to go, how to fight and survive, where every collectible item is, and a few neat tricks used for sequence breaking. The bulk of what you will be watching will be a live commentated 100% completion run of the game's normal mode, but at the end of each video there will be segments that show off cool sequence breaks, as well as neat boss battle tricks and strategies. Keep in mind that these sequence breaks will often show off parts of the game that'll normally appear later. So, if you're bothered by spoilers, be cautious when the breaking begins. Now, without further me explaining, let's begin! Time for an exposition dump. This is a Metroid, a virulent floating organism that drained energy from its prey through physical contact. Metroids were originally created by the Chozo and named after their word for ultimate warrior. Their value as a bioweapon sparked several crises, and as a result, all traces of them have been eliminated. They are now extinct. This is the X-Parasite, a gelatinous parasitic organism indigenous to the planet SR388. It could absorb the DNA of its host, living or dead, and can replicate its form. When infecting a living host, it could even gain access to host's memories. X-Parasites were driven not by emotion, but by an instinctive need to replicate and spread to increasingly stronger hosts. Their inability to be controlled marked them as even more dangerous than their sole predator, the Metroids. Like the Metroids, they are believed extinct. Now we're seeing clips from Metroid Fusion, which is the predecessor to this game in the canon. And this was all covered in Fusion. Samus got infected by an X-Parasite, and there needed to be surgery done to her. With no Metroid surviving on SR388, it became infested with the X, horrifying parasites capable of imitating any living being. Unaware of this, I set foot on the planet, got infected, and almost died. Samus is the one narrating here. Look at that little 8-bit Metroid up at the top middle. The only thing that saved me was a vaccine created from Metroid DNA, which also left me uniquely able to oppose the X. This ability was tested immediately when I went to a Biologic Space Laboratories, BSL, research station to investigate a distress signal. But while she was there, she encountered a number of creatures, including the SAX. Which was the X mimicking me in my power suit at my full strength. I eventually eliminated the X-Menace on SR388 by setting the BSL research station on a collision course with the planet. After that, the X and Metroids were just memories, or so we thought. Just when it all seemed over, the Galactic Federation received a mysterious video transmission. I believe the Galactic Federation oversees peace in the galaxy and is the one who sends Samus on her missions. It showed an X, alive and in the wild. Thorough analysis proved the video was real. Although the sender was unknown, the transmission was traced to a particular planet. It was called ZDR. If the X had somehow escaped extinction out there, they would pose a threat to the entire galaxy. The Galactic Federation dispatched a research team of 7 EMMI to investigate. These are new to the series. An EMMI is a large research robot designed to capture field samples and extract their DNA. Their incredible mobility and protective plating, made of the strongest stuff in the universe, practically guaranteed the mission's success. But not long after their arrival on ZDR, all communication was lost. What is happening on ZDR? Is the planet really infested with X? As the only one immune to the parasites, it's up to me to go there and find out.
We'll soon be entering ZDR's atmosphere.
There she is.
The bounty for this mission does not seem appropriate.
Don't need to tell me, Adam.
The risk clearly outweighs the reward.
You waited a whole 3 minutes to tell me that?
Treat our lost assets assets with care, lady.
Entering the atmosphere in T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And all of a sudden, we're just in our fusion suit.
That elevator leads to the depths of an underground facility. Signal quality is likely to be low. Remote communication remains using cloak. Try to connect to the facility's network when you reach the bottom. That way, they can remain in contact. Many objections, lady.
This is Samus's first sighting of a Chozo in years. Considering this one seems to be a little hostile, probably not the best first impression, right? She got her charge beam and a diffusion beam. And her melee counter, which in Fusion and Super she did not have. But in the remake of Samus Returns on 3DS, she did end up getting that melee counter ability, but she can't counter everything. Once again, Samus has become, as the fans say, Metroided. She has lost all of her power-ups. Let's go! Obviously, left and right move. You can only use the stick, so you will always move at the same speed no matter how much you tilt the stick. Samus can parkour over small ledges like this. Press the B button and you can jump. You shoot with the Y button. You can also aim by holding L and moving the stick around, which is very fluid compared to previous entries in the Metroid series. You don't have to fight every enemy, you can just jump over some of them if you want. A new mechanic for Metroid Dread here is the slide. Samus can't turn into a morph ball just yet, but she can slide by holding ZL. We can't access certain doors yet with our regular beam, but you can break open these alien blocks. Samus can also cling to certain ledges. Wall jumping is done by facing away from these little ledges and then jumping. You can also just do a regular wall jump as long as you are spin jumping towards a wall, which is done not by standing still and jumping, but by moving and jumping, and then pressing the jump button each time you collide with a wall. A little bit more intuitive than previous Metroid games where you had to actually press away from the wall while you're running towards it. It was a little bit obtuse. Samus starts off with her missiles right now. As you can see on her little model, you can see whenever her missiles are active by this cannon position, I guess. While you're holding R, just press Y and you'll fire a missile instead. Sometimes you can't see breakable blocks, but as long as you shoot around, you'll be able to find certain breakable ones. In traditional Metroid fashion, stick armed cannon into crevice, download data.
So, you've accessed a network station. Well done, Samus. I have reviewed your vital signs and video log from the data you uploaded. I've run a full analysis, but I cannot account for why you lost consciousness. My readings indicate dramatic physical changes in you. Whatever caused these changes seems to have stripped you of most abilities. You might call it physical amnesia. That brings me to your assailant. I am checking the Federation database against your video log. It appears to have been a Chozo. The attacker's identity is not yet clear. I have determined that you are somewhere within the depths of ZDR. Your top priority should be to return to your ship on the surface. This situation is precarious. Trust your instincts as you navigate upward. This planet appears to consist of multiple areas. Shuttles, elevators, and other modes of transport connect them. Keep an eye out for ways to reach the surface. The ship's location is marked on your global map. Check it for yourself. You may encounter pockets of low temperature. Your Metroid DNA renders you vulnerable to such environments. Spending time in cold areas will be harmful to you. There are many such cold areas scattered underground. Do not enter them with your basic power suit. One final thing. Underground interference is preventing radio transmissions. Check in with me at any network stations you find.
After an Atom briefing, you are allowed to save your progress. Alright, let's keep going. Can't access that door yet, so let's keep moving. Now time for the melee counter. Anytime you see an enemy flash like so, press the X button and you'll be able to counter them, and then press the shoot button in order to fire off a powerful shot to counter. Almost every enemy in the game can be melee countered, and every time you successfully pull off the counter and shot combo, they'll drop a lot of materials, either missiles or health pickups. Definitely a lot more than if you were to just shoot them down. So, for example, this guy, just shot him dead. He didn't drop anything. But if you were to melee counter him, then he would be able to drop a lot more. Can't access that door at all. We'll keep moving. We have to slide under here. And now we get another tutorial. Anytime your map is glowing like this, it indicates that there is a nearby hidden collectible. We will be going for 100% in this game. However, it is not required... By the way, this is a missile tank. You get 2 extra missiles every time you pick one up. It is not required, by any stretch, to collect every item in order to get the best ending possible. We'll get more into that a little bit later. We can't leave out that door. Oh, there it is. The first of many EMMI. I don't like this scenario. Try as you might, as you want to try to stop it, you cannot do damage to it. There is a very particular frame during each of these EMMI encounters. If you get caught, you can save yourself with a melee counter. But it is not recommended to only go for that. Oop, there we go. The frame at which you have to melee counter the EMMI will always change, so you're basically always playing Kirby Quick Draw when facing down those things. Always try to avoid them. That is a brain. Your first instinct is to go touch the brain. You do you, Samus. But now that she has touched the brain, she has a new arm cannon upgrade. The Omega Cannon. And we have the Omega Blaster. So now whenever we go into aiming mode, if we hold the R button, we start charging the Omega Blaster, and once it's fully charged up like so, press Y, you'll fire off a giant blast. This is the only way to destroy the EMMIs. Charge up the Omega Blaster, aim for that little red spot on their face, and fire away. But after defeating an EMMI, the Omega Blaster goes offline, so it is not a permanent upgrade, it only stays active during EMMI encounters. Let's keep on moving. Whenever a door creaks open like that, it means that doorway becomes open permanently. But now we can come back up here, and since we don't have the Morph Ball, we can't access this little bit anymore. So we can just move forward. This is just a regular old save room. Let's save our progress. Save rooms are indicated on the map by yellow outlines. We can't really do anything about this, at least not properly. So let's keep moving on. That's another charge beam door. Drain out some water because our mobility in water is not great. As you can see, we can't really jump very high at all. So we couldn't make it up here without draining the water. This is known as an EMMI zone door. Anytime you see those pulsating cubes, that means you're about to step into a zone occupied by the EMMI. I'm gonna move the map controls out of the way, but as you can see, this is a decently wide open space that we're gonna have to navigate, and anywhere in there could be the very deadly robotic creature. It could even be right behind us, but that's just silly. As Samus is demonstrating, shooting the EMMIs with anything does not work. You have to run. Let's get out of here. Gotta be quick about it, he's catching up. Slide under here. And we're trapped. We can't do anything. Can't get out that way. Can't get out this way. Oh, here's the EMMI. Oh, God! Thankfully, this is one of the very few EMMI who cannot go through tight spaces. So, with the white EMMI, all you gotta do is find a spot where he cannot reach you through tunnels. And you're safe. There's a missile upgrade right here. But as we walk through this hallway, this door closes off. We either need to be really fast or we need something else to get around that. But we'll be back there later. Brief me, Adam.
Uploading data.
Both EMMI you encountered were clearly trying to capture you. They may have been hacked. If so, it's reasonable to assume all EMMI will be hostile. EMMI send out a pulse to detect vibrations in the air within a certain range. Essentially, they can hear you. Upon detecting vibrations, an EMMI enters surveillance mode to track their source. Stay out of its line of sight when this happens. Otherwise, the danger to you increases dramatically. An EMMI that has seen you will begin pursuit. Part of the pursuit protocol is to seal the EMMI zone exits. You will be trapped inside. To survive, you must leave its range of pursuit. Evade the EMMI and it will disengage. This will also unseal the exits. An EMMI never leaves its assigned zone. Their control system must permit them to operate only within that range. I estimate a 99% probability of death if an EMMI captures you. There may be a very small opportunity to escape, but exploiting this window will be virtually impossible. The EMMI are immune to your current weapons. You lack the unique energy used to defeat the first EMMI. Your only option now is to evade capture and find an exit. Your highest priority in an EMMI zone should be simply to survive.
Can do. Let's keep moving. Once again, we do not have the morph ball upgrade, so we can't move off to the left just yet. Gotta blow up these alien blocks, cause some debris to fall, and now we can slide under. But we also can't access that yet because we don't have the morph ball. Let's keep on moving. And that sound means that the EMMI is nearby. It has heard us now, so it's going to be following the noises that it heard. Stay out of its cone of vision, which is indicated by, obviously, the yellow cone right in front of it. Anytime there's a yellow circle that's pinging where you currently are, that means it's going to head to that location in order to investigate it. We managed to escape the EMMI zone without it actually seeing us, so we, are safe for the time being. It is worth noting that there is a hidden missile pickup there, but we cannot get that just yet. There's another save room. Whoop. Excuse you. I just tried to do a melee counter on that one, but it did not do anything to it. If you melee counter something, or in other words, just melee something that cannot be countered, standing still, usually you just knock it back. If you're able to run, this is a very inopportune place to show that, because mobility in water is heavily reduced. If you're able to do a running melee, you actually do a little bit of damage, but it is not always enough to take out something. We're going to drain the water here, so water levels are a little bit lower if we head back a little bit. And as such, we can now jump out of here and head up here. This is a map room. So, we've downloaded, effectively, the map, but we haven't downloaded detailed information about the map. So, we have all these squares to indicate where certain rooms are, but we don't know what the interior of the rooms end up looking like. That's something for us to discover as we continue to play the game. As you can see, Artaria here is decently big. We've only explored a little bit of it, and we've collected 6% of the items. There are also certain icons that'll show up to indicate collectibles. So, for example, this is where a missile tank will be. This is a, well, triple question mark, save station, map station. Let's keep on moving. We don't need to go this way, but if you're paying attention earlier, on our path, there was this little missile tank that we couldn't reach. But now we can reach it. Excuse me, sir. Oh, sorry. Now might actually be a good time to replenish my health. I was gonna go back into this room to show off. Combat against this guy, it's not that bad. It is pretty bad if you don't know how to time it. Wait for a flash, melee counter, and there you go. Keep moving through the other EMMI gate. Those little robots are great for resupplying on missiles and stuff. Unfortunately, this EMMI down here... Whoa, jeez. Oh, it saw us. Alright. Now it's in chase mode, so it'll be pursuing us a little bit. We're gonna have to wait for the water to fill up here. Oh god, it's getting close! Woo! Just in time. We need to push the water up just enough so that we can slide underneath that little passageway. Alright, once we come down here, there's no way back up there yet, so we're gonna have to find another way back. There's another missile tank up there, but we can't access that yet. You might have been noticing these blue walls. Those will be important pretty soon. These red covers indicate you need to use a missile in order to open them up. And generally, they are also an indicator to say, hey, you're nearby a power-up. Held by these Chozo statues are power-ups, including the charge beam. The first major upgrade you are likely going to get. I say likely because it is possible to sequence break this game, and we'll be showing off some of those sequence breaks as the game goes on. The Charge Beam. It focuses beam energy to unleash a powerful shot. Basically, hold the shoot button. Charge shots damage enemies immune to normal beam shots, such as robots and bosses. They can also open Charge Beam doors. In addition, Samus can perform a charge attack by spin jumping when the beam is fully charged. So let's demonstrate. So, here we go. Charge Beam. This is what it looks like when it's fully charged. You can open up a Charge Beam door now. Also, while you're holding it, if you jump, you get a little force field around you. This only stays active for one charge of the Charge Beam, but anything weak enough will be able to, you know, die to it. And now we're back to start. Now we just gotta make our way further along, try to find new paths we can open now that we have the Charge Beam. Obviously, the Charge Beam will not destroy everything in one shot, but it is still powerful enough to hit enemies that... Yeah, this was a Charge Beam door. Hit enemies that would normally not be able to be damaged by the regular attack, or even just do more damage to something that would be. This is an energy tank. You get more energy. Samus starts off with 99 energy, or HP as it were, and each energy tank she collects will give her 100. Dread also introduces a new type of collectible to the Metroid series called the Energy Tank Part. They're basically heart pieces. You collect 4 of them, and you get an energy tank. It is kind of a dumb collectible, all things considered, because why would you want to get those when you can just collect an E-tank? Alright, let's keep going. There's another Charge Beam door right here. And a missile tank, but we can't access it yet because there's a block here we don't recognize. Yeah, even the map doesn't know what it is yet. I think we just triggered some sort of security system by coming through here. The EMMI's active. Actually, I don't think we were supposed to come through here. Oh, it heard me. It knows I'm not supposed to be here. Run. Okay, I'm incorrect. We were supposed to come through here. Something's in the background. A little hard to see it, though. Okay, yeah, we're good. There's a Charge Beam door here at the data room. We can slide under here, grab another missile tank. These are breakable blocks. These new enemies will fly around for a little bit before trying to attack Samus. And they'll move in unpredictable patterns. So just wait for them to try to home in on you and melee counter them. Look at this. This is really cool. A flowing upward pillar of fire. Can't say you see that every day. Real quick, these Charge Beam doors, one to my left, up top to the right, there's another one. They have what seems to be heat emanating from them. That indicates that if you go through them, yeah, it's hot. Samus cannot handle extreme heat right now. So, we're gonna have to wait for a future upgrade in order to handle those heat rooms. There was the dashing melee attack. Did a little bit of damage to that creepy crawly, but didn't do enough to knock it out. Now we're redirecting thermal fuel. At least the flow of thermal fuel. And this will activate new doors. It'll also close existing ones too, but we'll see that later. Notice the minimap real quick. It is flashing, indicating that there is a nearby collectible. Blow that up and you'll reveal there's a missile here. But if you go to the room to the right, you'll know that there is no door for us to access. There's no button to shoot. Well, that's where this trick comes in. Shoot the door from this side, it'll creak open, and because you can't access it yet with the upgrades you have, just walk through the other side, and there you go. In a speed run, if you're going for 100%, it's probably better to wait to come back there, because it does take a little bit of time. But yeah, now we can access that door. It's a shortcut back to the data room. And Adam has another briefing for us.
Uploading data.
There was no record of your assailant in the Federation database. However, there are records of a chosen warrior tribe. There is a strong possibility the two are connected. You have seen the warrior tribe's architecture and artifacts on this planet. I conclude that this was one of their settlements. But why would someone lead you here and send the EMMI after you? The footage of the X-Parasite may have been staged to lure you in. The situation remains unclear, but your priority hasn't changed. You must return to the ship. You have activated the magma supply system that has restored power to the closed thermal doors. Seek them out to proceed. Continue to search for the unique energy you employed against the first EMMI. It is the only way you can confront them. Unfortunately, this energy is limited. You may have noticed it dissipating after an EMMI is destroyed. There are 6 remaining EMMI hunting you. You have no means to confront them. Remember that.
Thanks, Adam. In case you're not familiar, Adam is the ship's computer that helped Samus in Metroid Fusion. Named after the superior officer, or the commanding officer, I believe, that Samus had in the events of Metroid Other M, I believe. Other M came out a little bit later than... can't access that as early as I'd want. It came out after Fusion, but it took place before Super Metroid, I think. I never played it, and I'm sure a lot of fans of Metroid would like to treat it as non-canon, though it does take place during certain events in these early timelines. Hello! You're floating. Now I have to do battle with this central unit. You can damage it either with charge shots or with missiles. Gotta avoid these, I think they're called Rinkas? The orange rings? Those might look familiar to veteran Metroid players. A little weird that the brain had an eyeball. Oh, the EMMI has noticed. The central unit has been taken out. So it knows where Samus is. But that's fine, let it come to us. But now we have a new upgrade to the Omega Cannon, the Omega Stream. So now whenever we're aiming, we can hold the Y button and fire off a barrage of shots. That'll get rid of any armor plating surrounding a weak point of, say, a mechanical being like an EMMI. So now we have a 2-part combat method against the EMMI. We're gonna have to wait for it to come to us. As you can see on the minimap, it is close by. It is starting to come down. There he is. We're gonna have to shoot that armor plating off of its face. Now we have a long hallway here, which will give us plenty of time to aim at the armor plating, warm it up, blow it up, charge our Omega Blaster, and then take it out. Nothing to fear here. And with that, we have upgraded our abilities using the abilities of the EMMI. We have the Spider Magnet now. It allows Samus to attach to blue magnetic surface walls and ceilings using magnetic field. Tilt the left stick in the direction of certain walls and ceilings to grab on. Samus can move and attack while in this state. Hold up while attached to a ceiling to press against it. So yeah, we can wall climb now. I guess we'll go this way. And now we can demonstrate. Yep, here we go. Just climbing around. It's a little bit slow, but these magnetic walls actually have a unique perk to them. Whereas with regular walls, when you wall jump off of them, I'm holding right the entire time. That's around the point where Samus is able to move again. So wall jumping off of regular walls can be a little bit you know, you can't sequence break very easily. You don't have a whole lot of mobility off of them. But these magnetic walls oddly lets Samus act much sooner. So as long as you're holding the same direction on a magnetic wall, you can climb up them very fast just by, you know, wall jumping over and over. It's never super important for speedruns, I don't think, but it's nice to know. And now that we've defeated the EMMI in the EMMI zone, a lot of local wildlife, as I guess we'll call them, have taken over the EMMI zone. Seems like an impassable barrier, but actually you can just shoot it down. And there's just another missile tank right here. If there are any collectibles that we would have been able to acquire outside of the regular path, with these new upgrades, I'll be sure to make note of them at some point. But as far as collecting everything is concerned for this playthrough, at least for what you're seeing here with the live commentated stuff, I'm probably just going to go back after the fact. Like, after I collect every major upgrade, we'll come back, get all the collectibles, and then go fight the final boss or something like that. But anyway, this weird-looking creature indicates a room or a barricade that leads to the first area boss. Obviously, you can take it out very easily with a melee counter. That's really all I know how to fight it. Or you can approach it, let it come out at you, and shoot it down with a couple of missiles. Oh, hello. Meet our first boss, whose name eludes me at the moment. However, I will be commenting on what his name is shortly. You'll note that regular shots will not damage his head. So what you're going to need to do is either shoot it with a charge shot or shoot it with missiles. Its two main attacks are pretty easy to dodge. This tell means he's going to try swiping at you, so just jump to avoid it. Actually, he has more attacks. He can spit out that acid, and if you ever need to resupply on certain items like health or missiles, you can just shoot him down. This move will plunge his tail into where Samus just was at the start of the attack's windup. So, my recommendation is walk forward a little bit whenever he winds it up, and then go to town on him. Alright, let's finish this up. And now his main gimmick of turning invisible. You can't really see his face, although you can still shoot his face if you want to. But now you can aim at his weak point and shoot away at it. As demonstrated, or as shown here, yes, you can still do damage to him if you want to. Just keep in mind it's going to be a little hard to see his face. If you do break this glowing, bulbous part open, you go into a third phase of the fight. Preparing his super move effectively, but there is one escape from the seemingly inescapable situation, and that's to slide underneath him, and you can melee counter him. This will trigger a cutscene, which actually allows you to shoot at him. You either use your charge shots or missiles and do some extra damage to him that way. Every boss has one of these cutscenes that can happen, just as long as you melee counter them just right. As long as you have the spider magnet, which is almost impossible to not have by this point, although it is possible, you can evade his attacks by going up there. In case we want to make him uninvisible, we can keep shooting that. But the more damage we do to him, the quicker he'll try to get his super move again, because you can't go over him, you gotta go under him. Time your melee counter, and there we go. We get another cutscene to do more damage to him. And with that, he's on his last legs. bodied. What exactly was in that tail that was making him turn invisible? The Phantom Cloak. This is an Aeon ability. It renders Samus invisible to enemies by refracting light. She can also move silently, albeit at slower speed. Click in the right stick to activate it. Aeon will be slowly consumed while its ability is activated. Moving or firing weapons while activated will consume additional Aeon. Once all Aeon has been depleted, this Phantom Cloak will consume energy instead. Should it deplete energy to 1, it will automatically deactivate. After deactivation, Aeon will begin to recharge automatically once Samus makes any actions. The ability cannot be activated again until the Aeon is full. Sounds like a lot, but effectively, don't stay in this too long, otherwise your energy gets sapped. But yeah, now we can turn invisible. This will render us completely, absent from any EMMI encounter as long as, we stay perfectly still. Alright, let's keep moving. Find a save room, and that'll be a good point to end it. But here's these hallways again where it closes the door if we get too close. With our new Phantom Cloak, it can't detect us because it refracts light. How about that? Also, now that we have the spider magnet, we can attach to this, and it's a little elevator. Ain't that neat? Whoop. Excuse me, guys. Ah. Alright, let's save here. And that should just about do it for the live commentated stuff. So let's show off some cool sequence breaks. Let's talk about a sequence break that can be done here in Artaria. This sequence break utilizes a trick known as the Pseudo Wave Beam. The Wave Beam is a classic power-up in the Metroid series, and its main quirk is that it can shoot through walls. The Pseudo Wave Beam can also shoot through walls, but not always reliably and definitely not as intended. By jumping out of a slide and shooting at the right time, Samus's regular shots can fly through walls. Though keep in mind that Samus has to be touching a wall after a slide jump in order to have the Pseudo Wave Beam work. Otherwise the shot will just hit the wall and go nowhere special. Since this trick requires frame-perfect timing, it's not going to be easy to do, so don't be surprised if it takes a bit to get right. Two of the most significant uses of the Pseudo Wave Beam are here in Artaria. This one allows a player to skip the very first EMMI, which is useful for speedrunners, as the first EMMI encounter is an unskippable tutorial for the EMMIs and gives Samus nothing critical. Use the Pseudo Wave Beam to hit the alien block without sliding through the passageway. At first, it may seem pretty easy to land the shots, but... yeah. The fourth hit from the same spot will make the rocks fall and crush Samus. The first 3 hits can occur from the lower ceiling area, but the fourth has to happen from further away, which changes the timing. Nailing it makes the rocks fall without harming Samus, allowing her to progress without triggering the EMMI tutorial. You can return to the tutorial room later if you really want to trigger the cutscenes while wearing the Varia suit, or even while wearing the Gravity suit, but there's nothing for you there besides cutscenes that show Samus in the wrong suit. Also a soft lock if you're in the Gravity suit. The second major use of the Pseudo Wave Beam is actually in the next room after the save room. Right at the room entrance is another alien block, and using the trick here will allow you to get to the first major boss, Corpius, way out of sequence. Note that you will be missing both of the major upgrades you get in Artaria if you reach the boss this way this early, but Corpius is still able to be beaten even if you skip said upgrades. It's fun to try fighting him this way just for the novelty of it. The biggest issue is that you'll actually soft lock yourself if you continue too far without going back to the original path at some point. This means no progress will be able to be made and you cannot access the original path to fix it. In order to avoid the soft lock, you need to make sure you have at least activated the introductory cutscene of the white EMMI before changing the thermal fuel flow. The full bit is entertaining, but if you overcommit to going as far as you can without getting the charge beam and the spider magnet, you will get stuck. It's best to use the Pseudo Wave Beam just to open up the path early and get at least the charge beam before sequence breaking too much. In fact, I believe speedrunners use this skip to get the Phantom Cloak before getting the spider magnet. And that'll just about do it for this episode. See you guys next time for more Metroid Dread.